everybody? Ben Rogers here of the Raptors Digest, reacting live to this year's trade deadline. And I gotta fix my camera to get things started off, so we'll get that sorted. Apologies for the technical difficulties to kick things off. YouTube has updated their streaming software, streaming platform, and it is going crazy. But we are ready for the last stretch of this trade deadline because it looked like things were going to cool off. It looked like things might be, cooked. The Raptors are set. They're doing this. They're doing that. Then we had a couple of developments happen today that started making this trade deadline a little bit more interesting. We're 25 minutes away. Time is running out, and RJ Barrett trade rumors are starting to circulate once again. Now, my stance has not changed. I know the Raptors probably need some adjustments, probably need some moves, but I want to keep RJ Barrett, letting people know that is my stance. That's what I'm feeling. That's how people are going. But let me know in the comment section down below and spam it right now. Why, if you want to see RJ Barrett traded, and N if you want to see him not traded. Why, if you want to see him traded, and if you don't want to see him traded. We'll get that sorted. We'll get this this volume up. Let me know if you guys can hear me, and we'll get this stuff rocking. It's a lot of stuff going. We also got a goal out here on the channel, seeing if we can get to. Let's see if we can get our sub goal up here rocking. This is a updated streaming software, so getting used to all this stuff. Feeling like a boomer out here on these streams. Washed streamer here right now. Marcus Jackson saying why. People want some. Lots of whys out there in the chat. Lots of whys, lots of ends. People are going all over the place for one of these trades. But again, we are on that goal mission to see if we can hit 41,000 subscribers in the stream. Currently at 40,812 according to our last video. So, right now you actually see it. We got 20 subs already today. So we are rocking and rolling. But let's see if we can hit that goal here. But lots of whys out there in the chat about an RJ Barrett trade. So what's going on? What are these latest developments that have happened? Because there are a lot of things going on. Basically, this morning we heard that, from a Kings beat reporter, hey, there's a lot, from Mark Stein, there's a lot of interest in RJ Barrett from the Sacramento Kings, despite the Domantas Sabonis deals falling apart and things like that. And then we had these latest updates. So let's bring them up. Basically, this one came from Josh Lumenberg, and we'll take a look at this one first. Basically, RJ Barrett, the Raptors are holding RJ Barrett out of tonight's game versus Chicago for injury management for his knee on the second night of a back-to-back, the team says. And then Josh Lumenberg, on top of it, has come out and been like, a little eyes emoji, a little eye turn, and stuff like that. So we had that come out from Josh Lumenberg earlier today. Now, this is a scheduled thing. We know RJ Barrett's coming back from an ankle injury, but the eyes emoji is the one thing where insider of the Toronto Raptors, Josh Lumenberg, had everyone teasing us. So then we had this come out from Taylor Houston. So essentially, in recent hours, so this came out like 30 minutes ago, in recent hours, there has been advanced discussions between multiple teams and the Toronto Raptors regarding RJ Barrett, as league insiders believe the Sacramento Kings are leading the race and are going all in for RJ Barrett. The Kings are willing to part ways with multiple assets, and discussions and have revolved around Malik Monk and draft compensation. Now, we've heard these things in the past. We've heard these things about RJ Barrett, Malik Monk, the interest, and all these things out there, regarding RJ in Malik Monk. And of course, RJ's just been thrown out a bunch of trade rumors. It doesn't feel like the Toronto Raptors are that interested in giving up or giving RJ Barrett another extension. They're learning from the IQ extension, from the Jakob Poeltl extension, being like, okay, we're going to be a little bit more hesitant in terms of giving out deals, giving out offers going forward with all the long-term money that they've attached. And then we had this come from a Sacramento Kings beat reporter from James Ham saying, yesterday I heard some people say it was dead, the talks between Sabonis and RJ Barrett. I've heard that it's not dead. It's completely alive. So all this stuff has come out over the last hour, which makes things very, very interesting regarding, this whole situation. So it's, lots of stuff happening. Do you want to see RJ traded? Get these little questions out there for you. But it's a very interesting development because, of course, Domantas Sabonis is a player that on the surface could be a cool fit. He's a facilitator, he's a big man, he gets rebounds. The Raptors lack some center depth, but it's going to be tough to make a move happen unless some team takes on Jakob Poeltl's salary. So, RJ Barrett's the key piece. That's the guy that a lot of people are interested in bringing in, so we shall see what's going on. But we'll get this going. Type N for no. And we'll get this rolling because I want to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions out there on this whole situation. Trying to edit out here on the go. The new streaming setup. I'm a boomer when it comes to streams. We're getting the wash stream setup going, but okay, we got this rocking and rolling here for you folks. All right, so let us know. Spam Y out there in the chat if you want to see RJ Barrett traded. Type Y in the chat. Type N for no. I want to see what you guys are thinking. But there's a lot of stuff going on out there as of late. And, of course, as, these Ys and Ns fall in, basically RJ Barrett this season averaging 19 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shooting 48% from the field, and 34% from the three-point line. He's been more efficient. He's been very, very solid this year. But he's a guy that, it's they don't want to extend him. And as much as I've been on my soapbox saying, do not trade this man, do not trade RJ Barrett, don't let it happen. If you're not going to extend him, if he's not going to be a part of the future, you may as well get some assets. You may as well get some pieces in order to build up this squad, build up this team, and see how things are rolling. So, I don't know. We'll see how things actually shake out. We got 300 people in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button as we inch closer and closer to this year's trade deadline, and there are a lot of stuff. We have a trade coming out. Folks. We have a trade. Basically, news has been revealed that Tyus Jones is going to the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, Tyus Jones going to the Dallas Mavericks. That's the newest update. That's the newest deal that's been out here on the board. So that's something that we're looking at. How are we feeling? Not much assets going back to the Hornets there at this point. He's been traded in a bunch of areas. I thought it was interesting Tyus Jones was on that team, but the Hornets have gotten better. This is one thing I want to note out here as this stream goes along. Basically, the Eastern Conference, especially next year, forget this season a bit, but for next year, this Eastern Conference is going to be a heck of a lot better. You have the Hornets who have been on a win streak as of late. They just, made some moves, picking up Kobe White. They got a nice backcourt, young team developing. We've seen them smoke us around a little bit in recent games, recent performances. So they have an interesting squad at this point. You have the Washington Wizards just picked up Anthony Davis, Trae Young. Trae Young, I get the defensive issues, but they got a long of athletic, wiry wings. They have Trey Johnson out there down at the shooting guard position. Then Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr out there in the front court. It's gonna be interesting to see how that team develops. Not sure what's gonna happen to the Bucks. The Eastern Conference is very, very loaded. Let me know what you guys think about this. The Cavs just got James Harden, so they should improve out there in the short term. It's interesting to see what is happening. We are about 18 minutes out there from the trade deadline. Again, things can leak in post-trade deadline, so we'll see what happens out there on this front. But apparently these talks are well and alive. There's stuff happening. The Bucks are still in talks with the Grizzlies about Ja Morant. So, the Grizzlies apparently, apparently the latest updates and details around the Grizzlies ended up acquiring Jakob Poeltl because we've heard this. Basically, all these developments and stuff. As two teams continue to find, the Kings and the Toronto Raptors, the Grizzlies came up in multiple conversations in league personnel in the aftermath of their Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. The Grizzlies can certainly hit the reset button, and we'll be rebuilding, which is why some around the league believe they could be persuaded to take on Poeltl's contract for at least one unprotected first. Now, one thing I want to know from you guys out there in the chat: would you give up a first-round pick in order to get off of Jakob Poeltl's salary? Because this is an interesting situation the Toronto Raptors are in right now, right? Like, his back issues could be detrimental to the future of the team. He is under contract till 2030. He's under contract till 2030. Jakob Poeltl is making that much money. I know he had a fantastic season last year, but if he has degenerate back issues and it's going to be something that's plaguing him for season after season, that's a tough position for the Toronto Raptors to be in. And of course, the team did end up picking up a center last night in Trayce Jackson-Davis, who is an interesting piece. It should be noted, is an interesting guy being brought into this Raptors squad, right? minimum contract. He's 25 years old. He's 6'9", has a long wingspan, and can block a ton of shots. He dunked on Victor Wembanyama like something crazy and had a very good rookie season. So there's some potential there, but of course he's not going to be the answer long-term at the center position. Do you guys think a deal makes sense for Jakob Poeltl, or do we wait and hopefully redeem his value and not stress about what's going on here now at this point? So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're viewing out there for this Toronto Raptors squad, for this Toronto Raptors team. And one other thing that should be noted is, of course, the Raptors yesterday ended up trading for Chris Paul. The Raptors traded for Chris Paul, Ochai Agbaji on the way out, and essentially they're not letting him report to camp. So the Raptors will not require Chris Paul to report to the team and could still discuss trades involving him over the next day. Toronto is out of the tax. Brooklyn picks up an asset and Agbaji's salary and stuff. But basically, news has come out that Chris Paul, who despite being an interesting guard, could be a cool piece for this team. The Raptors are expected to flip Chris Paul via trade. Now, we have 15 minutes, folks. 15 minutes to do it. Oh, no, for Jalen Brunson. Get out of here. Get out of here. To Chicago. Interesting. So this update is significant for the Toronto Raptors. So let's take a look at how this affects things, because the Raptors right now, another team that was in the mix for Jakob Poeltl was the Chicago Bulls. If you haven't been up to date, they have been on a fire sale as of late, as of this last stretch of games, and now basically what we are hearing, what Shams has reported, not what we are hearing, well, what we're hearing from Shams Charania is this tweet right here. So from Shams, save, and let's bring this up. Basically, the Bucks and Suns have expanded this to a 3-team trade to include the Chicago Bulls, Ousmane Deng to Milwaukee, and Nick Richards to Chicago. So the Bulls get a center. They get a big man at a decent price, so it rebalances the roster a little bit less guards and stuff. But basically, what we were hearing in terms of a potential suitor for Jakob Poeltl was the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls were linked, according to Brett Siegel, saying there's another team out there that has a need at the center position and could utilize Poeltl. After trading away Nikola Vucevic, the Boston Celtics and maybe the Chicago Bulls could be persuaded to add Poeltl if they were to get draft picks. The Indiana Pacers are unlikely to pursue Poeltl, especially now after getting Ivica Zubac, but that's another team that could clear the center position. So this dream of getting Poeltl essentially has just been shot down by Shams Charania as they just acquired Nick Richards. So I'd be surprised if they end up going after another center. But let me know if you guys believe or change or what mind you guys are in here right now. But let's see what's going on. We got those Shams updates, but the Bulls will probably beat the Raptors today. I mean, all those guards, all those guys out there, it's interesting to see how things will shake up. Another thing to note, folks, we are on that goal, that mission to achieve 41,000 subscribers, 170 away. I know we got like 67% of our viewers are not subscribed now. 424 people in there. If you are enjoying all the day, I was up till 3:30 a.m. making videos last night. Am I muted? Are we back? Am I back? Can you guys hear me? Someone said I'm muted. Okay, but we are back. I think. Let me know if it's cooked. But very, very close. Very, very close to. Is this muted? Let me know. Let's see. This shouldn't be muted. Let me know if we are back. Watch your content daily for months. So entertaining. Keep it up. Appreciate you, Chusa. But it seems like we're back. Are we still back? Yes, we can hear. Not muted. Okay. People are fake news. Audio fine the whole time. People are spreading fake news. But, all right. So, folks, we're on that goal, that mission. With all the technical difficulties to hit 41,000 subscribers, let's see if we can get there. In this video, I think we can. You see that live number go out? Let's get that stream rocking. We are good. But we are live and we still have RJ. We do have RJ, so we are rocking. So, okay, leave the live, come back. Audio's fine. We are rocking. So, let's see these latest updates, because again, the trade talks regarding this, it's interesting things going on in terms of this situation, in terms of what's happening with RJ Barrett. But basically, Malik Monk seems to be the piece that is legitimately gettable out there in an RJ Barrett trade here now at this point. And I don't know if I'm sold on that. He's a little bit cheaper. He's under contract for a little while. But basically 12.2 points per game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He is randomly just out of the Kings rotation this season. I guess it makes sense because they have DeMar DeRozan, they have Zach LaVine, they have all these different people. So it's an interesting piece that could be coming back to the Toronto Raptors if they do make this trade with the Kings, but I don't think we've seen the last, whether or not a deal goes down today, of Kings rumors regarding RJ Barrett, especially if he doesn't get an extension out there in the offseason. So those are all very interesting things to monitor as we are 10 minutes away from the trade deadline. Again, things can leak into past the trade deadline if the negotiations and stuff are coming out, so we'll see what is going on. We have this new report from Bobby Marks saying that the Chicago Bulls and Sacramento Kings are two teams to watch in the last minute for a Ja Morant deal before the trade deadline. So that's what's going on. The Warriors apparently are a team that's not done. And one thing I do want to bring up, I want to bring into the conversation, and honestly, it could be a shocking update for the Toronto Raptors to close things in the last 10 minutes. Apparently, the Clippers have been getting calls in regards to Kawhi Leonard. And this one is something I got grilled by a lot of people a few weeks ago for just bringing up the possibility. Again, they weren't linked or stuff, but we know the Clippers just traded away Ivica Zubac. If you're not familiar with the trade that just happened, the Pacers are sending Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, and 2 first-round picks to the LA Clippers in return for Zubac and Kobe Brown. Kobe Brown's also a good pickup out there for the LA Clippers. And now we have this update regarding Kawhi Leonard from AP Hoops, as the Clippers will have been getting calls on Kawhi Leonard, and essentially they are going to let Kawhi Leonard decide if he wants to be on this team. So that's what we're hearing. That's what we're hearing from bring back DeAndre Bembry. That's a crazy one, but that's what we're hearing out of the Kawhi Leonard situation. And if you're not familiar with what Kawhi Leonard has been doing this year, he has been on some stupid production when he's been out there on the court. And he's played 36 games, 28 points per game, 6.1 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 50% of the field, 2.1 steals, second in the NBA. And that is very, very interesting. Type Y in the chat right now if you'd like to see Kawhi Leonard a trade go down, RJ Barrett and picks out there for Kawhi, or if you if we end up seeing stuff. We got the chat saying AJ Morash, Nick Goss will have a better deadline to stream. I mean, hopefully we'll see if the Jays Digest get that going. Nick's actually upstairs right now working away in the Digest Media Studio. So we love that out there for Jays Digest. But it's Kawhi's a write-off. Kawhi back, not a bad shout. I mean, it would be interesting. It would make things very, very fun. Lots of stuff. Lots of whys out there in the chat right now in terms of interesting. I mean, I got grilled for throwing out this Kawhi Leonard hypothetical. And we have this update in terms of Clippers potentially having a fire sale right now to close things off. But lots of whys. Few ends. Few people. Might be too late and stuff. But people are asking where Riker's at. Riker's chilling. Riker's living life out there in BC. Not watching the Raptors too much. That Tampa tank year really sucked the life out of a lot of Raptors fans, including Riker. So we stuck through it, though, keeping the content going. But the Toronto Raptors, I mean, his value's probably cooked. I mean, we'll see what happens with the aspiration stuff, the tree planting business. It'd be interesting if the Raptors brought him back on the wings. If you could have Kawhi Leonard, Brandon Ingram, and Scottie Barnes, I mean, that would be just a ferocious lineup to be looking at to close things off. But interested to see what you guys think. I mean, the Pacers have acquired Ivica Zubac, so they are making moves. It's going to be interesting to see what happened. But the Pacers also offered apparently 2 unprotected first-round picks for Walker Kessler, and they denied. That's a crazy thing to turn down if you are the Utah Jazz, given the fact he's been out this entire season. But okay, so we have these developments, we have these updates. If you're just tuning in right before we went live, apparently a Kings reporter said the talks are still alive for the Toronto Raptors, the Sabonis deal, the RJ Barrett deal, and stuff. Again, I'm not a big fan of trading RJ Barrett, but Domantas Sabonis would be a very, very interesting get out there for this team. Another name to keep track of is Chris Paul, with 6 minutes left in the trade deadline. Again, things can leak past the trade deadline, so it's usually kind of a soft line in terms of moves going down, but you'll usually hear from Shams, okay, the Raptors are done making moves. This team's done making moves and stuff. We will keep you covered in terms of what's happening. Apparently, we do have an update. Draymond Green will remain with the Golden State Warriors through the trade deadline. He was only involved in the Giannis conversation, so That's not going to happen. The Denver Nuggets are done making trades, so don't expect the Raptors to land anyone from the Denver Nuggets. Scrolling through the updates, getting destroying it. But we did hear this update regarding Chris Paul. The expectation is Chris Paul will be traded by the Toronto Raptors rather than waived. Of course, if he isn't traded, it's expected to be waived. So we'll see what ends up happening regarding this Chris Paul situation, but he is unlikely to be with the Toronto Raptors. That is what we're looking at. That is what we're dealing with. I'm hearing some commotion upstairs, so I don't know if that's a Raptors trade. I mean, I got baited. Got a breaking update today. I don't know for my baseball fans out there. Tyreek Skubal won his arbitration out there with the Detroit Tigers, and I was like, oh, I thought this was a trade. I thought something was happening. But let me know in the chat here right now who you are most interested in the Toronto Raptors making a move for. I want to know who people are eager for the Toronto Raptors to get over the line over the next little while. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button too. Let's see if we can get that number up. 40,835 people right now. We have that goal, that mission to hit 41,000 subscribers. So for the 550 people in here, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are sweating out here on Raptors Digest right now. Got a lot of exciting things happening over the next couple of months. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. The goal is to hit 41K. We are over 41. We're at like 4. You could see the number. 4835. So we're getting it going. But a lot of people saying Sabonis. Some people are saying Miles Turner. Maybe we. I wish we could get Zubac. That was a pretty expensive price. So that is what it is. Overpaying for guys. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few minutes. Trades usually leak in over the past, the last little while. So I'd rather bring back Christian Koloko than Kawhi Leonard. I mean, I like Christian Koloko, but Kawhi Leonard would be absolutely fantastic. People are saying fire Bobby. That's I mean, we'll see how things go. He hasn't done anything stupid yet, maybe with the exception of the Poeltl stuff. But honestly, I don't know if the Poeltl extension was stupid, given how good of a season he had last year. And but of course, with the back issues, it's definitely not it's not been ideal. Not been ideal, the execution and what happened out there at that point. But I'm seeing a lot of Sabonis talk out there in the chat. The hope is, for Raptors fans that are interested in one of these moves going down, is basically, the Kings are really interested in acquiring RJ Barrett. They're really interested in making a move happen for RJ Barrett, but they want a first-round pick. They don't want to take on Poeltl and any of these situations. So what the hope is, they want to get off of their players. They want to do a teardown. They leave it to the last minute and say, okay, we'll accept your offer. We'll take second-round picks rather than the deal that you were initially given, and then move out there on that front. So we will see. We will see what happens over the next little while. And there's an expectation DeMar DeRozan might get bought out, so that is something. We're getting Sabated. We'll see if we get Sabated here right now. It's the master Sabater. We're getting that going out there on the stream. We'll see. So the Pacers are made a run at Utah Jazz. Okay, that's the new similar news. Any updates from Shams? Let me know. No noties. Nothing getting hit right now in the media. We got 3 minutes till the official deadline. Stuff can leak in past that 4:30 marker. What is it? 3 Eastern for most people. Newfoundland time 4:30. So we have this. We getting breaking. The Bucks have agreed to trade Kyle Kuzma to the nearest McDonald's location for 6 McChickens. So that's what we're seeing. 2 minutes. Jack saying time's up. I don't know. It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes, folks. The 2-minute timer's in. Will the Raptors make a trade? Before I went on here, people were saying the talks are alive. The talks are alive, according to some folks. So we shall see if those talks are alive. Donovan Klingle would be lovely. I mean, Zach Edey would be cool. We're getting slapped as per usual. I'm Bobby Boucher. Shout out the Waterboy, Carlos Rivera, Bobby Boucher out there in the chat. Lots of stuff going. RJ, it turned over twice at crucial minutes. I think one thing I will say about RJ Barrett yesterday, I'm not blaming RJ Barrett given the fact he has been tied in so many different trade talks. So that's I'm not blaming a guy that's expected, doesn't know if he's going to be with the team. That's fine. But the Raptors did trade for Trayce Jackson-Davis, so that is one thing to look at. We have 1 minute left, no more moves. I like our team. Jax, I don't mind this. Unless it's a nice fleece, and it's a nice fleece for the Toronto Raptors. That's what we're looking at. But Tyreek Skubal, I'm getting baited. The Clippers have been getting calls about Kawhi, but the franchise reportedly left that decision in the hands of Kawhi, whether or not he wants to stay. So apparently, okay, we have an update. We have an update regarding the Kawhi Leonard. So short-lived. there's news about the Clippers have been getting calls regarding Kawhi and stuff. Exciting speculation. Chris Haynes said the Clippers will not trade Kawhi Leonard ahead of this year's trade deadline. So that's a report that just dropped a couple of minutes ago. So we'll see the developments. We will see the developments that happen with Kawhi out there in the offseason. Could be an interesting target for the Toronto Raptors out there in the offseason. Bring him back. Let's win another championship. But that is short-lived out there at this point. Sabonis stream. It's happening. And it's currently at the deadline, so we'll see what happens. I got Jeff Passan tweets leading my Twitter right now, which is unacceptable. Unacceptable here. It's the trade deadlines at this point. But Zubac just went for more than Anthony Davis went for, and that's another topic. So that's interesting. Do you think the Raptors fumbled, not giving up a package, multiple firsts out there for Anthony Davis? Again, the picks the Wizards give up are probably less valuable than the Toronto Raptors ones here now at this point, but the Raptors were unwilling to give away multiple first-round picks to acquire AD. Do you think that's a W or an L in the chat? Spam it out there right now. W or L, the Raptors didn't go after AD. They weren't able to give up multiple picks to get Sabonis. Personally, for Sabonis and AD, I'm very, very happy that this is something that, didn't happen. But they 1,000% fumbled. Yes, no, fumbled. People are saying a lot of fumbles. Come on. At this point, just keep RJ, Sabonis, or Giannis. Just going to move on. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But we will see. Lots of L's out there in the chat for the Toronto Raptors not executing on this move, not executing on this trade. It's the chat's going crazy for Bobby Webster here right now. And for the next 10-15 minutes, usually the trade deadlines, things leak in. So we will stay live. We still will be covering because new stuff. But if the Raptors make no more moves, how are you rating this trade deadline? I want to know what you guys have to say. If the Raptors make no more moves on a scale of 1 to 10, comment down below. Let's get this going. I want to know what you guys have to say about this. Webster, let's get this going. But let me know how you guys are feeling about this trade deadline here right now. Spam it down below. On a scale of 1 to 10, comment it down below. 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. If the Toronto Raptors make no more moves, how are you rating this trade deadline? Seeing a lot of threes out there for this minus 1,000 from Ben Davis. Lots of stuff. Zubac could have been ours. Sabonis could have been ours. Lots of developments happening over the trade deadline, and we get Trace Jackson Davis and Chris Paul. So news has come out, no trade for Cleveland's Dean Wade, Jarrett Allen, or Craig Porter Jr. So all one things to notably look at for this team. But reports have come out, John Morant wants to stay with Memphis, so that's one thing to be noted. You have the Kawhi Leonard updates. We have an official update from Jake Fisher. There will be no Domantas Sabonis trade. No Domantas Sabonis trade. That is official out there right now for Jake Fisher. So, at least right now, next offseason, things can change. Things can be adjusted. No Domantas Sabonis trade will be happening. No updates on Malik Monk. No updates on the other guys in the Sacramento Kings because, again, we've heard the interest the Kings have had in Sacramento, but we shall see. John Morant, still no updates on whether or not he will get dealt, but interesting stuff going on here now at this point. Benedict Mathurin is also on the LA Clippers, which is kind of wild to see. I would have liked him on the Toronto Raptors here now at some point. So we have that rolling. Tank season, people are saying, for the Pacers. It's interesting to see what's going on. Who's Jake Fisher, NBA insider out there with Yahoo Sports, I believe. I'm not sure where he is at currently, but let's see. Los Angeles Lakers are planning on throwing out lots of stuff. Okay. I'm scanning through this so everyone knows. Tyus Jones is on the Dallas Mavericks. Very, very interesting move there. Tyus Jones, man. If he didn't have Jamal Shed, I'd be very, very intrigued by getting Tyus Jones here now at this point. But my camera's froze, so we'll fix that. We're keeping things rocking. But can they still make a trade? Trades still leak in. We have about 10 minutes to where we can really say, hey, whether or not can this move happen? Can this not happen? that is what it is. But the Toronto Raptors can learn from this trade deadline. Basically, the extensions they've given out, the deals that they've given out, it's it doesn't allow for moves to happen now at this point, which is it's unfortunate. It sucks. It's a bad position for the Toronto Raptors to be in, but it's tough. But no updates out there on Ja Morant. No updates out there on Ja in terms of whether or not he's going to get dealt or not. My cameras should be coming back here now soon, and I'll switch to the classic webcam. But okay, my camera's back. We're getting this going. The only teams not to make a trade yet are the Nuggets, the Rockets, the Pacers, the Heat, and the Spurs. So, things are going. Apparently Walker Kessler was getting some serious interest on the trade market. So that is very, very interesting. You have Ja Morant still out there in the mix. Still no word on Ja Morant. Sumu's out there on the Utah Jazz. People are saying L's. People are throwing out the L's a lot out there in the chat with what the Toronto Raptors have been doing. So very, very interesting stuff right now for the Toronto Raptors. But right now, in terms of the moves that we can guarantee, and this number's going up. Let's see if we can get 40,850. Let's see if we can get that out there in this deadline. But to summarize what has gone on, to summarize what the Toronto Raptors have done already, again, something might leak in. Something might leak in to close things off. So we'll see what happens, but we'll be on live just so you guys, just in case something leaks through. The Toronto Raptors acquire Chris Paul basically for trading away Ochai Agbaji. Still no word on whether or not Chris Paul is getting waived, he's getting traded, if he's getting dealt somewhere else. There has been speculation that Chris Paul might never be on an NBA court again. So the expectation was leading into this that Chris Paul will be traded rather than being waived. But again, unless something comes out in the next 5 to 10 minutes, he will likely be waived by the Toronto Raptors. So that was our move to get under the luxury tax. Trading away Ochai Agbaji, sayonara, appreciate all your service. A guy that had some serious potential for the Toronto Raptors, but unfortunately, 4 points per game, 2 rebounds this season, had some opportunities, shot 18.5% from behind the three-point line. So that was, that was CP24 bringing it up to here. Crazy stuff. Okay. So that was the one deal that we did. And then last night we made the trade to acquire Trayce Jackson-Davis from the Golden State Warriors in a deal that basically we sent out a second-round pick via the LA Lakers. The Raptors do have a pick here now at this point. Apparently, our current draft pick is protected. However many. I see a tweet. Tweet noti. Cam Thomas is getting waived. Wow. Okay, maybe that's an option. Maybe that's an option. The wing. I don't think the Raptors actually will do that now with Gradey, Dick, Ocha. But we need some shooting. But to get back to Trayce Jackson-Davis, this man, he blocks some shots. He could be a rim protector. The Warriors fans really like Trayce Jackson-Davis, so just fell out of the rotation. Could be an interesting piece for this team. But Cam Thomas waived. Let me know in the comment section down below. Would you like to see the Toronto Raptors get Cam Thomas? I'd like to see it. Who cares? I mean, we need some more shooting. Cam Thomas could be a very interesting pickup for the Toronto Raptors. I mean, it's free. Depending on how much money, I mean, we're about $1 million. Before the Trayce Jackson-Davis deal, I mean, it's something that could have probably gone down, but crazy Cam Thomas getting waived. A dude that can average a 20-piece, getting cut by a Brooklyn Nets squad. That's just shocking. Honestly to me, but that is what it is. Warriors Kawhi maybe not currently, folks. But Shams was annoyed. Malik Andrews was playing on his phone. That's tough. We have this. No, nothing seems to be leaking in very, very late. So the Warriors didn't make a move. I mean, that's pretty crazy too on its own right. But the Toronto Raptors were waiting to see stuff go. Chris Boucher gets waived. I mean, I'd bring back Chris Boucher. If Chris Boucher gets waived by the Utah Jazz, type Y in the comment section if you want to see Chris Boucher back with the Toronto Raptors. Could add some front court depth. I mean, I don't know how much he played over Colin Murray, Boyles, and stuff. But Bobby Webster right now didn't cook too much. He did get us a rotation setter. He did get us down under the luxury tax. So things to monitor. You trade for Chris Paul, then you have the opportunity to bring up some extra pieces in the buyout market. So more moves are coming. It might be small, might be big, but Chris Paul is going to get waived by the Toronto Raptors. That is essentially the move. If there's another stuff, let's see. Chris Paul. Here it is. Chris Paul is expected to be waived by the Toronto Raptors. So another move is coming. That is one thing to take a look at, to be assured, and to dive into. But that opens up a roster space with the Toronto Raptors. That opens up an opportunity for us to bring in another piece to close off this year. The Toronto Raptors are in an Eastern Conference that right now, this season, the Raptors in the East are falling down. Right? They're falling down a little bit. You were third, second there for a while. Currently down to sixth. The Miami Heat did nothing, so not a huge jump out there for a lot of the play-in teams, but the Raptors probably need to make some adjustments. We'll see if Trayce Jackson-Davis can actually be an impact player for the Toronto Raptors now, but I don't know. This trade deadline, in terms of my expectations, in terms of how I'm feeling about what's going on, I'm rating it a 4. It would have been a nice 5. They didn't do anything stupid, which was good. They didn't do anything stupid, which is good. So it's a 5, but they didn't do anything great. They didn't do anything positive. They didn't do anything awesome. So essentially, Trayce Jackson-Davis, he needs to be able to play. That's the biggest thing in terms of what we have going. If we get Cam Thomas, if we can get some of these buyout guys, Chris Middleton could be bought out, Cam Thomas could be bought out. We need some shooting out there on the wings. It hasn't solved the problems, but the Raptors didn't really have an opportunity to solve a lot of the issues that they were looking at. I'm seeing a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s. I'm giving it a 5. No one over really 5. No one in that 6-7 range. No one in that 10 range. No one's super happy with what's going on. And Trayce Jackson-Davis, I think Trayce Jackson-Davis is going to be buried on the bench. Honestly, he's a kind of inefficient big man, but at least on nights where Jakob Poeltl's not there or playing a big team, you can throw him out there and not risk injury to Colin Murray, Boyles, or one of these types of dudes. So people are saying wasted season. It has been a good development year, but the Raptors in the offseason could be in more of a position to make some moves, but they can see how things are going. If you get Jakob Poeltl back, this team looks completely different. So hopefully they can come back and get Jakob Poeltl healthy, move in that direction, and be positive. JK saying 6 in the 6. I like it. But it's tough. It's tough for this Raptors group to make moves when you have a contract like Jakob Poeltl's. It's tough for the Toronto Raptors to make moves when you have a contract like what Jakob Poeltl has been dishing out. The Raptors play tonight. They play the Chicago Bulls, which would be an interesting game. The team has been good this season. They facilitate. They do well. Hey, Hoods, I'd probably rather have Mo Bamba as well, especially with the defensive impact he can provide. The team is 26th in the NBA right now in three-point shooting percentage, so that's not good. Free throw percentage has been mid of the pack. The Raptors score 24th out there in points per game. They don't rebound well because they don't have any true centers playing night in, night out. It's tough. It's tough. But we'll see. We'll see how things end up shaking up here now at this point. We didn't hit our goal. If we had a crazy trade or something, I think this could have been crazier or could have been more realistic. But a crazy trade did not happen, so less people tune into Raptors content. But I appreciate every single one of you that are tuning in to this stream right now. Again, the goal of the mission has been to hit that 41K subscriber mark. I need to stream a little bit more to get this opportunity, get things gassed up. But currently at 40,843. I think that's pretty good. I appreciate every single one of you as we grow this channel, grow the network. Lots of crazy stuff coming. This is going to be the biggest year of my life out there for content creation and digest media and everything as a whole. So I appreciate everyone that's tuning in and been along for the ride, whether short term or long term, for this channel, for this team. It looks like, again, they're about 15 minutes out. Unlikely moves are going to be made. No further moves for the Warriors. They're done on moves, so can't expect anything to get built on for this Trayce Jackson-Davis thing. No trades materialized for the Sacramento Kings. Held on to Sabonis, Levine, DeRozan, and Malik Monk. So no Malik Monk out there in these trade scenarios, so you can write off RJ Barrett going to the Sacramento Kings here as of late. And people are saying Bobby Webster froze. He choked. John Morant is still with the Memphis Grizzlies. People are saying the Clippers don't have a center. Things are pretty safe. It's a safe bet to say no more moves are coming. Safe bet to say no more moves are coming. So I appreciate every single one of you. It's been along the ride for this trade season. This, people are saying it's a mid-trade deadline. Absolutely insane trade week. Like, the past 3-4 days in aggregate have been just absolutely ridiculous. But definitely trade deadline day did not live up to the hype. You did get the crazy Zubac deal. Pacers are going to be really good next season. I mean, I'm going to say this again. The Toronto Raptors right now, in terms of how things are looking, in terms of how things are shaking out, right? Of course, the Pistons, the Knicks, the Celtics are, Jason Tatum's going to be coming back soon. They're going to be really, really good for the next few seasons. You have James Harden in Cleveland. They should have improved. The Sixers, they're a really young squad. I mean, they got rid of, what's it called? They made that trade. Name is blanking here now. Jeremy McCain, who would have been Rookie of the Year if he stayed healthy last season, traded him to the Oklahoma City Thunder for a pick that is just ridiculous, like stupid. So, they had some young core. I'm happy, bullish on the Sixers long term now, not being better than the Raptors, but they have VJ Edgecombe, they have Tyrese Maxey. They're going to be a very good team for a long time. Raptors, of course, have some squads, have some power. The Heat, we'll see if they acquire Giannis in the offseason, but they have Norman Powell, All-Star, Bam Adebayo. They're always going to be pretty solid. The Magic are a team that has Paolo. They're looking to improve. They have Desmond Bane. They beat us. They beat the brakes off us the other night. The Hawks, they've been playing better since trading Trae Young. The Bulls, they're probably going in a negative direction. I don't know what the heck is going on with the Bulls, but the Hornets and the Wizards are going to be competitive next season. The Pacers, getting Zubac, getting Halliburton back, they're a team that made the finals. The Eastern Conference, this time next year, is going to be extremely competitive. This team, the Eastern Conference is going to be extremely competitive. And the Raptors stood pat here right now. We'll see if we get that youth development. I mean, you'd probably hope for more growth from Jamal Shed, Gradey Dick, Jakob Poeltl out there in the long term. But if we're going to get back, this season, the expectation was just to take a jump. And the Raptors have definitely taken a jump this season. They need to maintain it. They need to stay out of the plane. If we stay out of the plane, it's going to be a successful year for the Toronto Raptors. But you need to continue that jump. You need to continue that ascent. You need your young guys to continue to step up and then move in that way. Colin Murray-Boyle's great long-term piece. We will see that what's going on. But the East, it's going to get better. It's going to be way better for what's going on. And someone said, didn't you say you had a source? Basically said RJ was a done deal. Yeah. So apparently the Kings and the Raptors were in agreement. It was a done sure thing between the Kings and the Raptors in terms of trade value that was going back and forth between the two teams. The thing that held it up was Jakob Poeltl. The Raptors essentially thought some team would take on Jakob Poeltl's contract. They said, hey, the Raptors gave up a first-round pick, a couple seconds for Jakob Poeltl with his back issues. Of course, you're not going to be able to get draft compensation for Poeltl, but they didn't think that they'd have to give up draft picks to get off of Jakob Poeltl. That's where the misalignment was for the Toronto Raptors front office. Apparently, if they got off Jakob Poeltl's money, a team like the Grizzlies or the Bulls were willing to take on Jakob Poeltl. The deal was done with the Sacramento Kings to bring in Domantas Sabonis, but they couldn't get a team to take on Poeltl's salary. They wouldn't want to give up multiple first-round picks out there for a deal for Jakob Poeltl. So that deal that would have sent RJ Barrett to the Sacramento Kings was off. And basically, it's that's what I heard. Inside sources on the King side of things, that's when you run a network, it's weird the type of people you meet, the voices that you're hearing. I heard it more from the King side of stuff. So the Raptors weren't able to get someone to take on Jakob Poeltl's contract. They thought his value wasn't as bad as it was, basically. So they're like, okay, yeah, we have this deal with the Kings, so we'll take back Sabonis, and then we'll send Jakob Poeltl to the Grizzlies or some type of team. They thought that would be the easier part of the transaction than actually making the deal to bring in Domantas Sabonis out there in that area. And again, this is what I've heard from the Kings side. So I'm not pretending to be some stupid insider reporter. You know what I mean? I'm a YouTuber that runs a media company that has a lot of beat reporters in different places working for us, but it's that's basically what I've heard out there on that front. And you couldn't get anyone to get off of Jakob Poeltl, so the Raptors weren't able to get a deal done for Sabonis, and the Kings were just really, really interested in RJ Barrett. So Scott Perry loves him. It's on a reasonable contract. That's what the direction was for from what I heard from behind the scenes. As I get more info, I'll next few years, maybe Ben Rogers will get some more info as Digest Media grows, and we get stuff rocking and rolling there. Lots of big stuff happening over the next little while, but never never trust me. It's like what's called. I'm not. I don't claim to be an insider, but I'm not an insider. But I'll hear some rumblings and I'll repeat what I'm allowed to repeat. So That's all I know. But the Raptors, I mean, I'm seeing one final put because it's official now. The Raptors aren't going to be making any moves from what we're gathering, from what we're seeing. I'm getting a Shams notification. No series offers made for John Morant, so that's what we're hearing. John Morant will remain with the Memphis Grizzlies past the trade deadline. Multiple teams are intrigued by Morant's talent, but none were willing to make a serious offer. So that's what Shams Charania just said. Couldn't get Ja, couldn't get a big man, couldn't get Sabonis, couldn't get anything like that. How are we feeling? On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with this trade deadline? How happy are you with this trade deadline? 1 to 10, let me know. Comment down below. I want to see in the chat. I want to see it spammed. We'll see what happens with the buyout market. I think the Raptors will be active in that area there because Chris Paul will eventually be waived by this team. That seems to be the indication. Honestly, wouldn't even mind if Chris Paul was there. You know, people are saying the Project 6-9 will live on. Lots of 1 out of 10s, 5.5 out of 10s. I mean, maybe I'm underrating it because the Raptors could have easily done something stupid and gave away RJ Barrett for nothing. Bobby Webster, we'll see how it's viewed. I mean, Bobby Webster has a good relationship out there with Keith Pele and the Raptors management, Raptors front office. You know, Bobby Webster has done a good job, in my opinion, over the past 12 years in aggregate. But the extension stuff, the bad luck, it is what it is. It is what it is. They've handcuffed the Raptors to some different moves, and it's underwhelming. Underwhelming to say the least. But the good thing has been the Raptors, their squad, top of the Eastern Conference, not out of the play, in the top bunch of the Eastern Conference. We need to stop choking away games. The Raptors stop choking away games, which maybe the trade deadline with a young team can mess up some people mentally. They stop choking away games. They go on a little bit of a run. Then things can be positive there. But I'd like to know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section, in the chats, in the videos and stuff. Again, I appreciate every single one of you that's been tuning in to these vids, to what we have going on out there on Raptors Digest. Again, hit that subscribe button. If you're one of the, how many people we got in this chat? 464 people, and you haven't hit the subscribe button just yet. We are delivering a ton of Raptors content over the next little while. Should be an exciting close off to the season, getting out of the plan, getting out of push, and making this going. But we will see, and I'll keep you up to date with it all here on Raptors Digest. One thing to note as well, if you are in this chat here right now, we have a Facebook page as well, kicking off. All the videos get uploaded there. So leave us a follow on Facebook. That's something we're trying to grow and trying to develop and trying to push out on that front. TikTok's been booming. Follow us there. I'm doing all the spiels here. I gotta stream a little bit more, so we can have some more fun chats and things like that. But check out Digest Media on LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn. It's trying to grow this media company. Got a lot of exciting stuff happening for the whole company as a whole. But check us out on Instagram. Gonna get some shorts going, get some stuff going at this point. But yeah, Cam Thomas is waived. Chris Middleton's probably gonna get waived. There's gonna be some pieces. There's gonna be some options the Raptors have going forward, even though they didn't make a big trade at this trade deadline. So we will see. We will see how things play out. Still confident in this Raptors team as long as they don't sell. And excited to see Trace Jackson Davis maybe shock some people and, surprise over this point. But trade deadline is over. Trade deadline is done. Definitely a possibility to land Cam Thomas, but we'll see how it all plays out. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm signing out on this stream. We will be getting some going. Make sure to hit the like button and on your way out, helps the channel a ton. We'll be reacting to this Bulls game tonight, and Chris Paul is technically still in the team. He hasn't waived just yet. We'll keep you posted on how things are going out there on that note, but I appreciate you guys. I'm signing out. Cheers.
Raptors Digest, percussion ignites. From the north, we bring the might. Clawing day, full of pride. Tuning you, join the ride.
Subscribe to the Raptors Digest. It's good for you.